Hello everyone, welcome to Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez. It's Wednesday evening here in Washington, D.C., August 4, 2021. Tonight we have updates from our correspondents across America. For tonight's live reports, Mila Simbulan in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania schools preparing for a safe new school year.
Annabelle de Mesa in Corona, California.
Los Angeles reports the first human case of West Nile virus in the county this year.
Rani Bayuga in Parisburg, Ohio.
Ohio 15th District election results. Carey, Russo projected winners. Cuyahoga County requires masks for indoor public settings.
Mayanne Manzano Gorzon in Sicklerville reports about New Jersey adding $750 million in relief funds for rental and utility assistance programs. Bureau Chief Angel Embrere in Sacramento reports about California now offering in-home vaccinations in an effort to get more people vaccinated. Philip Toledo in Atlanta reports about Georgia Governor announcing job growth in Gwinnett County. For EBC Sports, Michael Hudson reports about NBA franchises taking advantage of free agency to strengthen their teams. For EBC Travel, Alan and Eva Basalahed take us to the OC County Fair, where thousands of fairgoers get a feeling of normalcy. And for tonight's roundtable, let's talk about funnel cakes, Ferris wheels, and fried everything. Sounds fair? All right, our coverage begins now. For today's COVID-19 numbers, according to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday, August 4th, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now over 199,750,000. Top three on the list of countries with recorded cases: U.S. has more than 35.2 million, India with more than 31.7 million, Brazil more than 19.9 million. This virus has now claimed more than 4,250,000 lives worldwide. Top three countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths: U.S. has over 614,000, Brazil over 558,000, and India has over 425,000. Total vaccine doses administered worldwide are now at 4,189,105,000. China tightens overseas travel restrictions for its citizens as part of efforts to contain rising coronavirus cases after reporting its highest number of infections in months. The movement of people is coming under more restrictions inside China, with localized transport closures and stay-at-home orders in place in some cities and even beyond China's borders. China had previously boasted of its success in crushing COVID-19 with hard lockdowns in the early stages mixed with tight controls of its borders. But mass testing campaigns have uncovered Delta variant infections across the country. The latest outbreak is threatening the country's return to normal life and economic rebound, with nearly 500 domestic cases reported since mid-July. Local governments have tested entire cities and locked down millions, with the official figures on Wednesday revealing 71 new infections, the most since January. However, this is still a low caseload despite the outbreak spreading to dozens of cities. The outbreak began when an infection among passengers on a flight from Moscow spread to airport cleaners in Nanjing, Jiangsu province. The incident has exposed weaknesses in the country's already strict border containment measures. China's immigration authority announces it would stop issuing ordinary passports and other documents needed for exiting the country in non-essential and non-emergency cases. That does not yet mean a blanket overseas travel ban for the Chinese public. Immigration official Liu Haitao told a press briefing that those who have real needs for studying abroad, employment, and business will still have their documents issued upon verification. Foreign crews on hundreds of ships have been stopped from disembarking and changing shifts at Chinese ports. The central government has also ordered localities to cut off public transport and taxis in and out of areas hit by the outbreak, the Transport Ministry said at the same press conference. The World Health Organization calls for a moratorium on COVID-19 vaccine booster shots until at least the end of September. WHO says this is to address the drastic inequity in dose distribution between rich and poor nations. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus calls on the countries and companies controlling the supply of doses to change gear and ensure more vaccines to less wealthy states. He says the concern of all governments to protect their people from the Delta variant is understandable, but calls on wealthy countries to consider others who remain unvaccinated.
But we cannot and we should not accept countries that have already used most of the global supply of vaccines, using even more of it, while the world's most vulnerable people remain unprotected. To make that happen, we need everyone's cooperation, especially the handful of countries and companies that control the global supply of vaccines.
More than 4.25 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines have now been administered globally. In countries categorized as high income by the World Bank, 101 doses per 100 people have been injected, with the 100 doses mark having been surpassed this week. That figure drops to 1.7 doses per 100 people in the 29 lowest income countries. Tedros says the G20 group of nations has a vital leadership role to play.
The G20 has a vital leadership role to play as the countries that are the biggest producers, the biggest consumers, and the biggest donors of COVID-19 vaccines. It's no understatement to say that the course of the pandemic depends on the leadership of the G20. I repeat.
Meanwhile, the White House rejects this appeal by the World Health Organization for a moratorium on COVID-19 vaccine booster shots and for rich countries to focus instead on supplying poorer nations.
We believe we can do both. We also, in this country, have enough supply to ensure that every American has access to a vaccine. We will have enough supply to ensure if the FDA decides that boosters are recommended for a portion of the population, to provide those as well. We believe we can do both, and we don't need to make that.
Psaki says the United States can continue to donate vaccine doses abroad while keeping enough supply to provide Americans with a booster shot if needed. Up next, updates from New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Eagle News America will return in a moment. Stay with us.
Start up your weekday mornings with edutainment, news and information kasama ang inyong paboritong Net25 shows. Samahan ang inyong paboritong morning barkada sa Pambansang Almusal at 5 a.m. Tatalakayin mga pangunahing balita sa pagtutulungan ng Radyo Agila at Net25. Samahan si Weng de la Fuente sa Balitalakayan, 7 a.m. Saganang Mamamayan at 8 a.m. NHK World at 9 a.m. Eagle News International at 10 a.m. At mga balitang dapat niyong malaman mula sa Agila, Pilipinas at 11 a.m. This is your morning startup every weekday mornings only here on Net25.
Olo. Sa ilalim ng dagat ay sisisig.
Ang tahong ay hahanguin at ang kita ay palalaguin.
Para ka kumita, sisipagan mo, tapos konting kapitalo, magpopondo ka para meron kang hanguin, meron kang makuha pagdating ng oras. Mga 6 months, 3 months, pabalik na yung puhunan mo.
Kesa sa itapon, kailangan natin siyang i-recycle para mapakinabangan.
Iba't ibang sangkap ay lutuin, putahing di kayang imutin. Ako po si Robin Padilla at ito po ang Vlog, Kaagapay sa Hanap Buhay. Kaagapay sa Hanap Buhay.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News America. In New Jersey, additional relief is coming for residents facing hardship with rent and utility. To tell us more, EBC's May-Ann Manzano-Guerzon reports. May-Ann.
Thank you, Ace. New Jersey Governor signed legislation that will provide comprehensive housing eviction prevention and utility assistance for renters who have been financially impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The legislation appropriates an additional $500 million for the COVID-19 Emergency Rental Assistance Program and $250 million for utility assistance, both programs administered by the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. The bill also mandates new eviction and foreclosure moratorium deadlines and special eviction protections for tenants who were directly impacted by the pandemic. The legislation will ensure that New Jersey's eviction moratorium continues through August for all state residents with household incomes below 120% of area median income, and through the end of the year for certain households with incomes below 80% of area median income, or AMI. Take a look.
In a few moments, I will proudly sign into law 2 measures that help alleviate the pressure and worry from hundreds of thousands of tenants who fear for the literal roof over their heads. And in doing so, we are setting a tone that can and should, and please God, I hope, reverberate in other state houses across our country. First and foremost, we will be injecting an additional $500 million in direct tenant relief. The new eviction prevention program within the Department of Community Affairs, led by my partner in government, let's hear an absentia for the Lieutenant Governor and the DCA Commissioner, Sheila Oliver. So the eviction prevention program will build on the department's successful emergency rental assistance programs and get these funds into the hands of families living below 120% of their county's area median income and who have suffered financially due to the pandemic. So here in Hudson County, for example, that would mean a family of 4 living with an income under $83,400 would qualify. And we will also step up with an additional $250 million in utility assistance where needed to ensure that families aren't just more secure in their homes, but protected against a potentially harmful utility shutoff. The department will be collaborating with partners in the nonprofit sector. I see Phyllis and Stacy and many others here. Renee, I'm not sure is here, but Renee is where? Hiding over here, and many other leaders who have been extraordinary. Thank you all. So they'll be partnering with the partners in our nonprofit sector to ensure that we not just identify those renters eligible for this relief, as well as, by the way, for other available resources, but that we engage them and bring them into this program. This will be the core work of the new Office of Eviction Protection.
For New Jersey's latest COVID-19 numbers, the Department of Health has reported another 1,164 new positive cases today, bringing our statewide total to 911,287. Sadly, we're also reporting 13 new confirmed deaths, pushing the total to 23,906 COVID fatalities. But on the brighter side, the latest total of fully vaccinated individuals in New Jersey is now 5,324,239. To know the latest on New Jersey's vaccination progress, visit covid19.nj.gov/vaccine. In Sicklerville, New Jersey, May and Manzano Garzon, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you, May Ann. What is the period covered by the eviction prevention bill?
So, Ace, the bill applies to renters who were unable to pay the rent during the period of March 1, 2020. So it started March last year through August 31 of this year. And for certain tenants, Ace, it is extended to December 31, 2021, or the end of this year. Ace?
And can you tell us more about the do's and don'ts for landlords under this bill?
Right. Ace, under this bill, while tenants who are covered by this special protection may not be evicted by their landlords, the rent is still due. So they have to understand that the rent is still due to the landlords, and the landlords may pursue this rent through money judgment. Also, the landlords who are receiving rental assistance must waive any late fees accrued by tenants during the special protection period, and the landlords may not report delayed rent to crediting agencies, and they cannot sell the debt. Also, the landlords may not disclose non-payment of rent to others, and prospective landlords may not deny renting to a person who wasn't able to pay rent during the covered period of March 1, 2020 to the end of the year. Ace?
Thank you for clarifying that. There's a lot of misconception about this bill. A lot of people think it's free rent, free utilities.
It's still due.
Due to the landlord. Thank you so much, May Ann Manzano Garzon, Sicklerville, New Jersey.
Thank you.
In Pennsylvania, schools are gearing up for a safe reopening this fall. And to tell us about the ongoing preparations, we have Bureau Chief Myla Simbulan with us this evening. Myla.
That's right, Ace. Good evening, Ace. With the first day of the 2021-2022 school year less than a month away, the Pennsylvania Departments of Health, or DOH, and Education, or PDE, are offering recommendations to families and schools as they safely prepare for in-person teaching and learning. For vaccination, the Department of Health and PDE encourage all eligible students ages 12 and older and other eligible members of their household to get their COVID-19 vaccinations before the new school year. There are safe and effective vaccines available to help stop the spread of COVID-19. As students look forward to returning to classes, getting a vaccine should be considered an essential back-to-school item on this year's list. According to Acting Secretary of Health Allison Beam, the COVID-19 vaccine is our best protection from this virus. And when it comes to school guidance, Department of Health and PDE continue to advise K-12 school entities to follow current Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, guidance to the greatest extent possible when creating and implementing mitigation policies and practices. A summary of the CDC's recently updated guidance is available on PDE's website. The American Rescue Plan Act and U.S. Department of Education requires school entities to develop health and safety plans that implement prevention and mitigation policies in line with the most up-to-date guidance from the CDC for the reopening and operation of school facilities. PDE plans to post school health and safety plans on its website later this summer. And when it comes to face coverings or masks, according to the CDC, masks should be worn indoors by all individuals aged 2 and older who are not fully vaccinated. Consistent and correct mask use by people who are not fully vaccinated, especially important indoors and in crowded settings, when physical distancing cannot be maintained. Schools may adopt stricter masking policies. Each school entity must include a locally determined face covering policy in its health and safety plan. A's right now in Swarthmore is 69 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius with partly cloudy skies. In Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Miles Simbulan, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you, Myla. Have you received any directive from your school district or where your your children's school district about mask wearing or any other instructions when school reopens?
Yes, actually, on the Pennsylvania Department of Education website, they are really saying that the students need to wear masks. And in our school district, we already got an email stating that all levels of school here in our school district, all kids must wear masks once the school reopens. Ace?
Has the setup of schools been finalized yet? Will it be in person, online, hybrid, or no school at all?
Before the start of summer break, we were informed already that the school will be in person. Although we received some emails asking us if our kids would like to go online as well. So I guess there's still that option because last year, especially my youngest, he's full online. But then this year, I want him to go in person, and it was also recommended by his doctor to go in person because he's been online for such a long time. So it's good for him to be in person this time, especially this school year. Ace?
That's great that they're keeping their options open. Well, how about your kids? Are they attending in person?
My eldest who's in high school, she'll be attending in person. Actually, the end of last year, January actually of this year, and started. They're already doing hybrid. A couple of days in a week they were doing online, and a couple of days they're in person. My second child, who's in middle school, they are actually half a day. They're in the morning they're in person, then in the afternoon they're doing online. So it's kind of hybrid. So this year, I believe they're going to be all in person as well. So hopefully, it depends on what the situation is. I don't know what's going to happen with this Delta variant. It might change that, but we're hoping that they will be all in person this year. Ace?
Thank you so much, Myla Simbulan, Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. When we come back, updates from California, Ohio, and Georgia. Eagle News America. We'll be right back.
Kickoff.
This much is certain. Something is coming. The fact check for the kickoff of the Bundesliga. Who are the favorites? Who should be nervous? And where might surprises be lurking? We dare to look ahead to the new season.
Kickoff.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News America. In an effort to vaccinate more Californians against COVID-19, the state now offers in-home vaccinations for those having difficulty getting to the inoculation sites. Here's more from Bureau Chief Angel Membrere.
Thank you. In California, the Delta variant of COVID-19 continues to spread. With that, the state of California continues its efforts to increase the amount of those vaccinated. For those who would like to receive the vaccination, but transportation is a hindrance, free transportation to vaccination sites may be provided, as well as the option for in-home vaccinations. Visit myturn.ca.gov for more information. Now, for those that have already received the vaccination, you can now keep a copy of your vaccine record on your phone. To do this, go to myvaccinerecord.cdph.ca.gov and enter these 3 pieces of information: your name, your birth date, phone number, or email associated with your vaccine. Then you'll need to create a 4-digit PIN number to keep your record private, and secure. At a recent press conference with Governor Gavin Newsom, he discussed the COVID-19 vaccine, as well as the hesitations that some people may have when it comes to getting the vaccine for themselves. Let's listen.
There are about 25% of folks that are eligible today that can go to a clinic like this, no cost, regardless of their immigration status, no cost, and avail themselves of that same life-saving vaccine, but for whatever reason haven't done it. Now, I met a young lady a moment ago who was very candid with me. She says, I'm in here today to get vaccinated because I had a family member that got sick. And that's what it took for her, and I respect that. She otherwise was not necessarily that enthusiastic to get this life-saving vaccine, but now she realizes it's not just about her. These are her words. She says it's about her family now and protecting them. And so we're mindful that there are a lot of people that are still anxious, a lot of people that still need to work with doctors, private settings to work through those anxieties. But we also recognize there are a lot of people that have been misled by misinformation. And we've got to call out the misinformation campaigns. We've got to call out those that are knowingly misleading the public. And we minced no words on that yesterday, and we'll continue to be very targeted and focused on those misinformation efforts.
In Sacramento, California, Angel Membreri, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
A disease with no vaccine to prevent it is now in Los Angeles as the county's health department confirms its first human case of the West Nile virus. In Corona, Eagle News correspondent Annabelle De Mesa has the details. Annabelle.
Thank you, Ace. The Los Angeles Department of Public Health reports the first human case of the West Nile virus in the county for this year. The infected individual, who resides in the South Bay area of Los Angeles, was hospitalized late July due to a fever caused by the West Nile virus. Fortunately, the infected resident is currently recovering. Matthew Davis, the Los Angeles County Health Officer, states, "We all have to take steps to prevent the West Nile virus infections. Spread by mosquitoes, this virus is the leading cause of mosquito-borne disease in the continental United States. There are no vaccines to prevent or medications to treat West Nile virus in people." Health Officer Mansu further warns Los Angeles residents to take precautions against the West Nile virus, as mosquitoes can easily transmit this virus through bites at any time of the day and night. Angelinos should empty, clean, wash, and scrub items containing water, whether indoors or outdoors, on a weekly basis. These can include buckets, pet bowls, planters, flower pot saucers, bird baths, or even toys. Cleaning them will help prevent mosquitoes from laying their eggs there. Those who have swimming pools should regularly clean and chlorinate them, as well as remove any standing water on the pool covers. Those with garden ponds can add goldfish or another mosquito-eating fish, as they will consume and get rid of mosquito eggs and larvae. Windows and door screens that have holes should be repaired to make sure that the mosquitoes don't enter the homes through them. And Los Angeles residents should also use Environmental Protection Agency or EPA registered mosquito repellents like those with DEET or oil of lemon eucalyptus. These products can be safe and effective protection against mosquito bites. And we are encouraged to wear long sleeve shirts, long pants, or clothes covering both arms and legs until November, as this is when mosquito season is at its peak in the county. In the last 5 years, public health officials have annually recorded approximately 118 human cases of the West Nile virus in Los Angeles County. This number of cases may actually be higher, as those infected may not report mild symptoms. Around 75% who have reported had severe symptoms, and about 9% passed away due to complications. Since there is no current treatment or vaccine for the West Nile virus, Angelinos are strongly advised to take necessary steps to protect themselves and their families. In Corona, California, Annabelle De Mesa, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
First, the coronavirus, and now the West Nile. I'm pretty sure residents there are doubling their efforts to protect themselves and their families from both. What are the symptoms of the West Nile virus that everyone should be aware of?
Well, the first thing we should know is, of course, the West Nile virus can be acquired by getting bitten by an infected mosquito. The virus can target a person's nervous system, causing inflammation like meningitis and encephalitis. And of course, that could lead to paralysis or death. So this infection is very serious. If you're bitten by a mosquito, you should be aware of the symptoms such as fever, headaches, nausea, body aches, and mild skin rashes. Residents who are 50 years or older, or have weak immune systems, or have chronic medical conditions are at greater health risk. So it's best to seek medical attention if you've been bitten by a mosquito and experience these symptoms. Ace?
Thank you so much, Annabelle de Mesa, Corona, California.
Thank you.
News from Ohio, Eagle News correspondent Randy Bayuga joins us tonight with the state special primary elections projected winners. Plus, Cuyahoga County requires masks for indoor public settings. Randy.
Thank you, Ace. The unofficial election results are in for the 15th congressional seat. Democrat Allison Russo and Republican Mike Carey will be in the November ballot for Ohio's 15th congressional seat. Trump-backed Mike Carey wins handedly over several other candidates. District 11 is led by Democrat Shontel Brown. Shontel Brown beat Senator Nina Turner for the office formerly held by the U.S. Representative Marcia Fudge when she joined the Biden administration. Cuyahoga County Department of Health orders masks for public indoor settings. News tweeted by the Department of Health, Terry Allen. This as significant levels of transmission is seen in Cuyahoga County, noted by the CDC. Ohio's positivity rate is now at 6.4, and new daily cases are on the rise. Just in the last 24 hours, 2,167 were added to the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19, bringing the total to 1,134,965. In the last 24 hours, another additional 113 hospitalizations were added, bringing the total to 62,242 deaths. All in all, since the pandemic started in Ohio, there are now 20,530 deaths. Vaccinations in Ohio is now at 49.63%. Back in June 2nd, 2021, this number was at 45%, a little bit more. But you can see that it has stagnated since the CDC has relaxed the restrictions. It is now 23 degrees Celsius here in Perrysburg, Ohio, and the skies are clear. Perrysburg, Ohio, Ronnie Bayuga, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Thank you, Randy. Okay, so tell us, what's driving the COVID-19 cases up in Ohio?
Well, we have, if you look at the stats, we have a little more than 50% of Ohio's population unvaccinated. And most of these unvaccinated people are now getting infected with the Delta variant. And that's the increase that we're seeing all throughout Ohio. And that's what's driving up the numbers.
Man. Okay. How significant is the rise in cases in Cuyahoga County?
So let's say in the last 2 weeks of July, the positivity rate was at 2.4%. That's, and now it's at 6.2. And we had in the last, from July 27th to August 2nd, there was an additional 760 cases of COVID-19. And these are Delta variant. And now in the last 24 hours, we're at 2,167. So it's really exploding. And Cuyahoga County is one of the places where they're having a lot of trouble. That's in Cleveland. It's only about 2 hours away from here.
Yeah, that's indeed a big jump from 2% to 6% in positivity rate.
Yep. Very
Thank you so much, Randy Bayuga, Perrysburg, Ohio.
Thank you, Ace.
Let's head over to Georgia. Governor Kemp announces there is job growth in Gwinnett County. In Atlanta, Bureau Chief Philip Toledo has more.
Thanks, Ace. Governor Brian Kemp has announced today that Intuitive, a medical technology company, will increase its footprint in Gwinnett County, north of Atlanta, leading to approximately 1,200 new jobs in Peachtree Corners. The $500 million investment will add to the company's current presence and include manufacturing, engineering, and state-of-the-art training facilities for medical professionals. The company manufactures the Da Vinci robotic-assisted surgical system, which has been used in over 8.5 million minimally invasive surgeries worldwide. Governor Kemp is quoted as saying, "With our advanced medical environment, dynamic workforce, pro-business policies, and thriving economy, Intuitive made the right decision in choosing Georgia. The Peach State continues to attract world-renowned companies like Intuitive, and this huge investment coming to the new Peachtree Corners campus will benefit hundreds of hard-working Georgians across Metro Atlanta." Likewise, Gary Guthart, the CEO of Intuitive, stated, "Intuitive needs a highly educated, committed, and diverse workforce, quality infrastructure, and the right geography to meet the rising demand for minimally invasive surgical technologies." And we found that here. Now, before we go, just a quick COVID-19 update. Over 3,000 new cases were reported today as the case count is climbing steeply as the state approaches 950,000 total cases since the pandemic began. On the vaccination front, only 41% of the total population has been fully vaccinated. In Atlanta, Georgia, Philip Toledo, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to
Up next, EBC Sports and EBC Travel, and tonight's roundtable about funnel cakes, Ferris wheels, and fried everything. Eagle News America will return shortly.
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced, not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas. A one-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia. Tune into Mata ng Aguila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Aguila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science, and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to thank our health outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Welcome back. This is Eagle News America. Free agency still tops the NBA news headlines. For the latest moves and signings, Michael Hudson reports from Seattle.
Hey sports fans, hope you're doing well. If you didn't know already, the NBA is in full swing when it comes to this summer's free agency, and I'm here to give you a brief update. So there has been so many moves that have happened these first few days of free agency, and I just wanted to give you some of the major ones that have happened throughout the league. So first and foremost, the Los Angeles Lakers have probably made the biggest splash thus far in free agency, bringing back center Dwight Howard, who played for the Philly 76ers this past season, as well as Trevor Ariza from the Miami Heat, who last played for the Lakers back in the 2009 season. They also bring in three-point specialists Malik Monk and Wayne Ellington, Kendrick Nunn for the Miami Heat, and Kent Bazemore, who last played for the Golden State Warriors this past season. But I think the most popular move would be bringing in longtime NBA vet and one of LeBron James's best friends, Carmelo Anthony. He played the past 2 seasons with the Portland Trailblazers before accepting a 1-year deal from the Lake Show. The Brooklyn Nets, who are the current odds-on favorite to win the NBA title next season, brought in Australian point guard Patty Mills. He has spent his entire career with the San Antonio Spurs, and they also bring in power forward James Johnson, who brings in physicality, and he last played for the New Orleans Pelicans this past season. Lastly, the Miami Heat has made some noise also picking up Kyle Lowry, who was spent the majority of his career with the Toronto Raptors, as well as PJ Tucker, who played for the NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks this past season. And also an honorable mention goes out to the Chicago Bulls, who signed free agent DeMar DeRozan from the San Antonio Spurs on a 3-year deal, as well as bringing in former Laker Alex Caruso and former Pelicans point guard Lonzo Ball to the fold. And this is really going to give Zach LaVine help in making Chicago now a serious contender for the playoffs. We'll be sure to give you more NBA updates as they come to us. Michael Hudson reporting, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you.
After almost 2 years of non-operation due to the pandemic, the Orange County Fair in Costa Mesa, California is back. And for its first 3 weekends since reopening this year, tickets are sold out. Fairgoers say they wouldn't miss a day at the fairgrounds for some sense of normalcy this summer. Alan and Eva Basalahe for the story.
Hi, Eagle News. Welcome to the Orange County Fair.
Big time at the Orange County Fair. Come on down.
Hey, Eagle News viewers, this is what we got at the Orange Fair.
I thought it was Orange County.
It is.
As sure as there are sunny summer California days, farm fresh family fun at the Orange County Fair is a yearly expectation.
That is, of course, except in the face of a global pandemic. But in spite of it all, visitors and vendors are hopeful that this year's fair will be remembered as a return to something close to what once was.
Most patrons, when they come to the fair, they'll look around and they say, well, a lot of it looks the same. But we've moved some things around. We've pared back some of our exhibits, some of the shopping. We've spread that out a little bit. So when you go into the buildings to shop, you have a little more elbow room. It's not as tightly packed in there, which is a really nice shopping experience. We're at a limited attendance capacity, and people have to buy their tickets online in advance. And that's a new thing for us, but we want to keep it at a nice steady attendance. For the 2021 fair, it's 45,000 attendance per day, which is about 75% of our typical capacity. Now, there's a little bit over than that because people held on to their super passes from previous years, and so we know that they'll be coming back. We're honoring those super passes. And then we also had tickets that were out in the community for donation programs for those those individuals that wouldn't be able to normally attend the fair. So there is a few extra in the market, and we've accounted for that. So we can take a little bit more than the 45,000.
My first time out here, I really enjoyed it. Being from Nebraska, we have things like this a lot, and this actually was probably one of the best ones I've been to. She won this for me in the water gun game because she was the winner of like 7. It's a blobfish. It was one of, I don't know, it's the most colorful one. A little squishy. I wanted one like because those are in now, the little squishy ones. So I wanted a squishy animal.
Oh, I personally won this because I was playing basketball. And even though those rings are like this and the ball's like that, I was so great. I belong in the Olympics. I made it. And I won this beautiful thing.
This is their first time on the OC Fair, my little ones. They enjoyed themselves. We've been here since 11:30, so I'm extremely tired. They're worn out. They're gonna have a good night. The first fun thing we did, we went on the Ferris wheel. We had bacon wrapped pickles, ice cream, fried shrimp. Everything is fried, so as long as you like fried food, you good.
Fried Oreos are delicious, as always. We ate so much food. Like, my stomach hurts really bad. I ate so much.
The fair was fun.
I thought the fair was really fun. I enjoyed it. It was the best day ever.
We took an impromptu poll asking fairgoers which they prefer, OC Fair day or night.
I think night because it's like not as hot.
I like the day just because I know like during the day there's a lot to do. OC day.
Probably night. We got the tickets for the concert. I think that would have been really cool because it's like an 80s cover thing. I think that would have been really cool.
I don't know if I can pick. I'm sorry. It's great anytime that you come to the OC Fair.
And the votes go to
night, for sure.
Whether you agree or not, there's definitely one advantage that nighttime has over the day, and that is you can forget the sunscreen and never have to worry if there will be enough shade.
In Costa Mesa, California, Yvonne Allen, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
For tonight's roundtable, it's still connected with the fair. So let's talk about funnel cakes, Ferris wheels, and fried everything. Fair enough? I think you know what I'm talking about. Feria. Kung sa Pilipinas, feria. Did you know? Best fair foods according to spoonuniversity.com. Number 10 on the list, cookie fries from the Texas State Fair. Ranking. This is ranking actually. 9th, fried cheese curds, Minnesota State Fair. I don't have any idea what fried cheese curds are. Number 8, turkey leg. That I've tried. Yes. And number 7 is corn in a cup. What is this? Are we talking about a corn cob in a cup, or like the ears of the corn in a cup? All right. Number 6, deep fried PB&J. I guess that's peanut butter and jelly deep fried. All right. Number 5, cannoli dessert nachos. I'm not sure if any of you have tried this too. 4 is pizza cone. And number 3, deep fried Snickers. I can imagine that melting in your mouth. Fried chicken in a waffle cone, number 2. And number 1, deep fried Oreos. Okay, let's ask our team members. Your childhood favorite ride or favorite fair food, or any tips when going to the fair? What do you head to first? Where do you go to first? What rides do you go to first? Okay, let's start with Annabelle. Annabelle, share with us your favorite ride.
Oh, my favorite ride in the fairs are definitely the carousels. Just because they take you all the way up and you can basically see everything below you. And because a lot of them do stops every once in a while, you get a little bit, a longer time to really enjoy the view and take it all in.
Oh, that's so wholesome. Carousel. Okay, your favorite food.
Oh, my favorite food? There's so many that I haven't tried but really wanted to. But the last one that I did genuinely enjoy was the turkey leg. Surprisingly filling, and very good protein. But if there was a food I wanted to try, it was definitely those fried Oreos. Never tried them, but wow, does that sound good?
Me too. Deep fried Oreos and the deep fried PB&J. I'm intrigued, actually. Okay, we'll come back to you later. Okay, Myla, tell us about your favorite food and your favorite ride.
My favorite ride is Ferris wheel because after all those dizzying rides, Ferris wheel is like, it's very slow and it's cooler, especially if you're on the top. That's my end of the night ride because it's cooler over there. Like you can rest while following all my kids going from one ride to another. So yeah, that's my favorite now.
So you feel like you're on top of the world.
Yeah, I know, right? It's really cold out there. It's because usually fair here, it usually opens in the summer. It's really hot even at night. So yeah, that's why that's I always buy tickets for the Ferris wheel. But for food, I don't know why funnel cakes is not on your top list because I love funnel cakes. But I also like fried Oreos. So yes, those are my two favorites.
That's a good question. Funnel cake. I see Rani reacting there. I bet you Rani is a big fan of funnel cakes. Rani.
Funnel cakes and elephant ears, Ace. Those are delicious.
What are elephant
pretty much the same thing, right?
Okay.
Fried dough with sugar.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty much the same thing. But you know what we do, I always do go for is the deep fried, it's like a coney dog, or no, corn dog, but it's cheese. So deep fried cheese. It's delicious. With some mustard.
Oh, last night I tried you're talking about that dough, that fried dough with something inside, and it had Nutella inside.
Ooh,
that sounds good too.
Yeah. It's just that.
But yeah, you can't. Yeah, that deep fried Snickers is actually really good.
I can imagine the Snickers with like peanuts, covered with peanuts.
Caramel, the nougat.
All right, and your favorite ride, Rani?
Yeah,
all you think about is
the Ferris wheel also. Because, when I was a kid in the Philippines, we used to just stand at the side and wait for people who didn't have a partner, and they'd pick out somebody in the crowd. You get a free ride.
All right. Okay, so Ferris wheel and what's your favorite food again? Oh, yeah, funnel cake.
Funnel cakes.
That's right. Okay, my Miss Guerzon. Miss Guerzon, tell us about your favorite ride. And
Mr. Ace is getting distracted. Well, Ace, my definition of fairs is Perry in the Philippines, like what you mentioned, because I haven't really been in like big theme parks here in the States. So in the Philippines, our version of all those food that you just mentioned are street foods, dirty ice cream, or hot cake. Those stuff that they just put a lot of sugar and margarine on it and you just enjoy it. You remember those? And the favorite ride would be carousel because carousel is the only thing I can do. I can't do Ferris wheel and all of those very, adventurous rides. I have to settle with bumper cars and carousels.
Bumper cars, yes, bumper cars. I love those. Hold on, let me ask Annabelle. Annabelle, have you been to the Philippines? Have you tried the fairs in the Philippines?
Okay, first off, I think I said carousel was my favorite. It's actually Ferris wheel, the one that takes you up.
Ferris wheel. Okay.
Yeah, it was my mistake. But anyways, I was actually born in the Philippines, and I lived there for 8 years. So I was able to experience all the awesome theme parks. The ones that are inside the mall, there are roller coasters inside the mall. I didn't know that until I woke up in the Philippines because I was born there. Yeah, the bumper cars are awesome. It made me feel like I know how to drive way before I got my license. And, it's a fun way to let out that road rage without actually hurting things. That's one way to appreciate those bumper cars.
It's fun to do with cousins.
Exactly.
but you lost me there already when you talked about indoor Ferris wheels and bump cars.
Yes. I used to live in a city where they have roller coasters, those log river rides right inside the mall. And I didn't think it was possible either, but I guess it's a fun way to enjoy the theme park rides without getting beaten down by the hot sun that the
Is that in Manila?
I live near Laguna, so I forgot the name of the mall. I think it was called Philinfest. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, yeah, there are a couple of big ones on that side. But I think, have you guys tried, Myla, did you ever like the horror rides?
Yeah, I like adventures.
Horror trains.
Where people would just jump in the dark and just jump in your car.
Yes, just don't go near me because I'm gonna scream, and my scream is really loud. Like I call my dad, my mom, I call everyone every time I get scared. So yes, but I like adventurous rides. I like going through those adventurous rides. Yes.
All right. May any fun tips going to the fair?
Don't try to bet. That's not fun.
Safe tip. Thank you. Rani, any tips when going to the fair? What do you have to bring? What do you not have to bring? What do you have to wear?
Always bring an extra t-shirt just in case you get wet.
That's right. How about those games? Which games do you play usually? Watching the feature from Alan and Eva, the couple, the girls there were talking about playing basketball. I think those basketball games are the hardest ones.
Yeah, because the ball is almost as big as the ring.
Exactly.
So you really have to get a swish,
And probably your angle should be like really on top of it.
It's got to be a rainbow shot. So you got to shoot it up and arc it down.
Any memorable stories?
The worst ride I've ever ridden in was that's the thing that spins around and the floor drops. I used to be able to handle spinning rides until that ride.
Wait. The floor drops?
Yeah, the floor drops and you stick to the wall. It's like a centrifuge. So what I did was I tried to stick my head out, and that got me. It got to me really bad. And I can't handle any more spinning rides.
Okay, Myla, any childhood fair stories, memorable ones?
The fair, yeah, I don't know if they have rides. They always have those. I don't. Yeah, I couldn't remember when I was a child, but I remember going to the one in Laguna where they have this Enchanted Kingdom. They have really cool rides over there, and yeah.
That's probably what where Annabelle went to.
Yes, Enchanted Kingdom. Yes, they are really like the rides over there are similar to what we have here. So yeah. The drop, the one that the drop, what do you call that? The where you drop.
The drop ride. I don't know either. But anyway, thank you guys.
It's free fall. It's a free fall drop. Okay. That's the most exciting one over there that I've tried. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your fair stories and your favorite fair food and favorite fair rides. That is today's Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez. Thank you for joining us, we live in interesting times.